we just continue with the medical jobs. So here on you can see some sentences, and just we should understand from the context which job the sentences are about. So we've decided that the first sentence is about practice manager, and I would like you to complete the sentences individually. Just I'll give you 3 minutes, and then we'll check. So start, please. Write down the missing words. 3 minutes for you.
Okay, that's it.
Well, let us check. Well, Lelina, what do you think of sentence 2? Read it, please.
A general practitioner work with individuals, families, and groups like the elderly and newborn babies in the community.
Well, so general practitioner in the community. So if it is a person who works out of the hospital, so, and can we think of another job title for this sentence?
They could be a district nurse as well.
Yes, district nurse. Okay, good. Maizir, please, sentence 3.
I think for the second one, I think also the health visitor.
Health visitor also possible, right? Yes, Maizir, sentence number 3, please.
Dash need very good interpersonal skills because they are the first contact people have with the practice. It's the receptionist.
Exactly, all right. Okay, so Abdullah.
Yeah, so 97% of the UK population is registered with the general practitioners.
Practitioner, general practitioner. Exactly.
Practitioners.
Okay. So Yasmin,
The duties of a practice nurse include traditional nursing skills and running specialties, clinics for immunization and diabetes and so on.
practice nurse, yes. So, okay, then Busaina, please.
It's not
Sorry.
her.
I
May I,
see.
Doctor?
So, yes, Kadum.
An important link between hospitals, the GBS, and other health professions involved in the antenatal care is the midwife.
Midwife, exactly. The key phrase here is antenatal care, the care of newborn children. Okay, Ayhan, please, the next sentence.
Number 7 dash visit those who are housebound or those recently discharged from the hospital and our address one. This is the district nurse.
District nurse, yes. Okay, right. Well, so I hope we'll remember their job titles, and now there is some information about the place where general practitioners work. It's called surgery, so or office. Surgery also refers to the time when general practitioners see their patients. And the question, do doctors work outside hospitals in your country? So, and well, Kadum, please.
Yes, Doctor.
Mhm.
A GBS place of work is called a surgery. Surgery also refers to the time GBS.
Will
see
you please
patients.
answer the question?
Okay. I raise my hand for the last question, not this question.
This question, do doctors work outside hospitals in your country? If so, where they work?
If we have like a vaccine center in place named Lucelle, we can get vaccine there. It's not a hospital. It's like some small building, not buildings. It's like some small rooms. We can get vaccine. It's in the behind the main road.
Okay, so this is one of the examples when doctors can work outside the hospital, and this is the sign of the pandemic. Yes, so it started only when
Yes.
the pandemic came. Okay, well, okay, and one more question: which person is in your opinion, is the most important besides the general practitioner? So you can answer this question.
I think the nurse.
Okay, the nurse. Okay, why the nurse?
Because it's like she also do many things for the doctor or help the doctor.
Okay, Ayhan, do you have anything to add?
I have for the first question.
Okay.
The doctor work outside. In my country, yeah, they work outside the hospital in their own clinical. They have a clinical building. They after they go outside the hospital, they can work on it and gather money from it.
You mean the private clinic?
Yeah, private clinical, yeah, doctor.
I see. Yes. Okay. I can see. So the same situation I think is in Kazakhstan. So the practitioners can work in several places.
Yeah, in hospital. Also, in my country, some doctors cannot work on hospital because our government don't give him the permission to work in the hospital yet. So they work in the pharmacy.
So just to have more practice in dealing with the patients, right?
More practice and also to gather some money to live.
I see. Okay, let us move on and well, now we are going to listen to a general practitioner. She's talking about her work in an inner city area And here we can see 5 statements. And we should decide whether these statements about her work are true or false. So let us focus on the statements first. For example, you can see that the first one is about the location. Is it in the center of London? The second is about crime rates and their just effect on people. Number 3 is about the workload of the doctor, whether it's high or low, heavy or light. Then number 4 about moving patients from one GP practice to another. And the 5th one is about receiving some extra payment. Now, I would like you to listen and to keep some notes, what you do understand, and then I will decide whether the statements are true or false.
Listening 1.
Can you hear?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Now.
Listening 1. My name is Dr. Chowdhury, and I am a GP working in an inner city area in London, just on the edge of the East End. I started work as a GP in this area over 20 years ago. In recent years, many developments, both technological and social, have occurred, affecting the practice enormously. I enjoyed my work here a lot at the beginning, and I still do now. But there are many problems in an area like this, which you would not find in rural communities in this country or in my home country, India. The crime rates are high, which affects the morale of the patients we serve and ultimately the morale of the GP practice. The workload is heavier than in most rural districts, which sometimes puts potential GPs off moving into the area. However, I have always found the job very rewarding. Another feature of an inner-city GP practice is that patients move around a lot. As regards compensation for working in deprived areas in the inner city, sometimes GPs receive extra payment.
Well, do we need to listen for the second time?
Yeah, doctor, please.
Yeah, that's right.
Listening 1. My name is Dr. Chowdhury, and I am a GP working in an inner city area in London, just on the edge of the East End. I started work as a GP in this area over 20 years ago. In recent years, many developments, both technological and social, have occurred, affecting the practice enormously. I enjoyed my work here a lot at the beginning, and I still do now. But there are many problems in an area like this, which you would not find in rural communities in this country or in my home country, India. The crime rates are high, which affects the morale of the patients we serve and ultimately the morale of the GP practice. The workload is heavier than in most rural districts, which sometimes puts potential GPs off moving into the area. However, I have always found the job very rewarding. Another feature of an inner-city GP practice is that patients move around a lot. As regards compensation for working in deprived areas in the inner city, sometimes GPs receive extra payment.
Well, now let us comment on the statements. Kadum, yes, the first statement is for you, please.
The GP works in the center of London. True.
Who remembers what else she say about the location of
The city area
inner city area
Yes,
or
in London.
She mentioned also something about the Adige area, something like that.
she says on the edge of the East End, right? So
Yeah, doctor.
on the edge of the East End, it doesn't mean the central London. That is why we should say that this statement is
Yes,
false.
true. False?
No. Yes, it's the East End is not in the center, at the edge of the East End, she says. This is not in the center of London. So this is like more about whether you've been in London, whether you've been to London, and you know, so the parts of London, and you know what is where in this city. Okay, well, let us listen to let us listen to Denis. Is Denis here?
About the yes, of course.
Nope.
About
The
the
second
second
statement.
point,
The second statement, please.
I think it's totally false. He explained it because in your
The connection is bad. I can't.
Maybe I
hear.
can maybe I can answer.
Okay, I can.
So equal high crime rate do not affect the people work under the GP practice. It is false because he say it is affect because sometimes they cannot help the people because of the crime.
Yes, and she says about the influence of the crime on the morale of people and morale of the GP practice. Yes, so of course they
So
are
it
affected.
is false.
It's false. Okay. Khalid. Hello, Khalid. Okay. Khatab. Is Khatab here? Khalid is absent. Khatab is absent. Okay, Alina, please.
He's in the meeting, but I don't know why he didn't answer.
Who?
Khattab is here. I can't see his name in the meeting bracket.
Well, but he just is not just joining. He's not together with us. He's not working.
I think
Alina,
he has bad internet.
I see. I see. Okay. Lina, what do you think of the next statement here?
The third one,
Yes.
the workload is lighter than in rural areas. I think this is false. She mentioned that the workload is heavier.
Okay. And the next is for Maizir, please.
Patients move from one GP practice to another. It's true. She mentioned that statement.
Okay, then Abdullah.
The GPS received no extra payments for working in department areas. I think it's false.
Yes, she says that sometimes they get some extra payment.
Sure.
And what
Sure.
else do you remember? What kind of notes have you made about her? So can you add this information? What do you remember? For example, about her native country, about how long she's been working there in London. Who remembers this?
I think she mentioned that she's from India.
Exactly. So her name is Dr. Chowdhury. She's from India. And how long has she been working in London?
Over 20 years, she mentioned.
Exactly. Yes, she says about this. Okay. So good. Now, so she was speaking about the difference in the work of general practitioner in urban areas and in rural areas, and what is the difference in working in city and in rural areas in your home country? Is there such a difference?
Yeah, miss. In my country, Iraq, it is absolutely there's difference from the urban and the rural area.
What is the difference, and why do you think?
In the rural area, the doctors have less work and less pressure on them, because in the rural area sometimes the people didn't go to the doctors and something like that.
They're busy with
And
the more important
because
things.
because in the rural area they are have a good health
I
if you compare it with the urban city in my country.
see.
It's, every
Mm,
time the people from the rural area have the good health and the strong health.
Okay. Mhm. So this is one of the aspects that the people are different. Yes, that is why it's easy
Yeah,
to work
yeah.
in rural areas. What else can influence this difference? So maybe the other students, just a minute, I'll have a look at. Yes, Kadum.
In my country, we don't have a rural area. We only have city.
And your
Because it's more-
country? What is your
because
country?
Qatar, because
Qatar. Ah, mhm.
it's small country. We don't have small
Like you
rural
are.
areas.
Are you going to after you got your just your diploma? Are you going to serve in your country to work in Qatar?
Yes, of course.
Mhm. Okay, so you'll be working in the city, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so, Mazir, what do you think of the
I
difference?
think there's a difference in the kind of cases you would encounter in a rural area versus the urban area. Like, I think with the rural area, you can counter a lot of things that are as a result of bacteria, like a lot of infections, like from drinking, contaminated water, eating infected foods, or eating like raw meat, as compared to like in an urban area, you might encounter things that are, related to the respiratory system, like people smoke a lot, or whether it's the smoke of the cars. So there's a difference in the level of cases you're going to see, and therefore the level of stress you're going to experience. So if it's like an easy case, you wouldn't be as stressed as you would if it was a harder case to treat.
Nice. And I think that one more thing is the difference in how the hospitals are equipped in the cities and in rural areas. So there is the equipment in, for example, cities is more advanced, it's modern, and so the doctors can use it just to treat their patients. Well, so good. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. And now let us just focus on some grammar aspect. And last class we were speaking about the use of the present tenses. And so you remember that, well, the present perfect tense describes the action that started in the past, the same way as the past simple tense. This is just causes the difficulty when we need to differentiate between them. And so let us focus on this. So we use the present perfect tense for actions which happen in the past at any time up to now. So the exact time is not known or not defined, as you can see here on this diagram on the timeline. So it shows that the action started in the past, but we don't know the exact time. So there are question marks here. So we just mentioned that it has been in our life. We have had such experience in our life. And on the contrary, the past simple tense is used for specific times in the past. The exact time is known, is defined. Sometimes it's not mentioned because the exact time is, we can understand this from the context. And as you can see on the diagram, the time is defined with the help of the phrases last year, 2 days ago, yesterday, for example. So, so we are given some words that show when the action happened, and that is, it happened in the past. Well, and so in the listening task, so when you take a history, you should pay attention to the patients, how they use the past simple and the present perfect. And in the listening task, there was such a sentence, used by the general practitioner. She says, in recent years, many developments, both technological and social, have occurred. So she uses the present perfect tense because the time of the occurrence of each event is not specific. She says in the recent years, she doesn't just say which year, she just mentions that there have been some changes in our life. She focuses on the fact, not on the time. And in another sentence, she says, I started work as a general practitioner in this area 20 years ago. The tense here is the past simple, and because the time is specific, 20 years ago. And now if we look at the relationship in a case history between the present perfect and the past simple in the conversation of a doctor to the patient and the patient, the doctor says, have you ever had a headache like this before? So he uses the present perfect tense because the focus is on the fact. So, and the patient answers, yes, I had a similar headache 3 months ago. So in his answer, he uses the past simple because he mentions the time, when he had this headache. So this is the difference. And one more thing, so the formal marker of the present perfect tense are the words like for or since. We often use them with the present perfect. And the difference in the use of for and since is the following. For is used with time period. It means how long the situation lasted. Like in the example, he has had a headache for 5 days, during 5 days. So since means plus specific point of time means situation shows when the situation started. I've been like this since Christmas Day. So it began on Christmas Day, since Christmas Day. This is the main difference. And now let us have a look at the sentences. There are sets of words on each line, and we need to find the verb and use the verbs in one of these tenses, the present perfect tense or the past simple tense. Like here in the first line, we can see the verbs like start, then be, and wake up. Yes. So which tense should we use the verbs here? What do you think? What do you suggest?
Can I start with the first one?
Yes, please.
For the first part, we can use the past simple. So say the cow started 5 days ago, and it has been so bad. It has woken me up every night.
Okay, so, okay, possible, right. So, let us look at the second sentence, and Mazir, will you read it, please?
Yes, when attacks first come on. So you can rephrase it. You can say, when did the attacks first come on? And it would be present perfect.
When did the attacks first come on? It's past simple.
Past.
Yes, past simple.
Oh, yeah.
Did is just the word which is used, the auxiliary verb which is used in the questions in the past simple tense. Okay, Kadum.
Number 3, anything make its words since start. We can change it to has anything made it worse since it started?
Exactly, because we have the word since, it shows that
Yes.
the present perfect should be used. Well, let us listen to Yasmin now, please.
Okay, so he never take any medications in his life. I think we can rephrase it as he has never taken any medications in his life.
Exactly, because there is the marker of the present perfect, never, ever. So we use the present perfect with these words. So, Busaina,
She is not here, miss.
I see. Ayham, please.
For number 5, right? What
Yes.
happened when you be near animals as a child? We can say what happened when you were near animals as a child. So we use the past symbol.
Exactly, good. Kadum,
My father did die over 20 years old. We can change it to my father died over 20 years ago.
past simple, died. I see.
Yes,
Okay.
died.
Денис. Hello, Денис. No connection. Khalid. Hatap.
Also not here.
I see. And now, Lina, please. The next sentence is for you.
The seventh one.
Yes.
You get these problems every day when you live in Africa. Did you get these problems every day when you lived in Africa?
Past simple in both with both verbs. Okay, Mazir, please.
Ever have coughing attacks like this before? Have you ever had coughing attacks like this before?
Okay, Abdullah.
So your family will have illness like this as far as you are aware. So it could be, has anyone in your family ever had an illness like this as far as you are aware?
Or it can be, have your family ever had?
Yeah, it could.
About
Has
the
anyone?
family as the group of several people. Okay, actually, these sentences are completed here on the following slide, and you can analyze how these verbs should be used. And so the same way as we've said. And now let us focus on the home assignment, as you can see. So you can find it on the Moodle site. You can find the presentation there and the grammar assignment, which is grammar exercises where you have to use the present perfect or the past simple tenses. So the deadline for submitting the home assignment is Friday at the end of the day. So
Yes, why the deadline is not in Sunday like the other subjects?
Because I need to check. So I have about 70 students, 70 papers, and I need to just transfer the grades till the end of the week. So it's more convenient for me. And I think it's not a problem because the task is not very long. I just try to give you for just a short exercise. I understand that you are busy with other subjects, but anyway, we need to do something.